Welcome to Ear Biscuits, the podcast where two lifelong friends talk about life for a long time. I'm Rhett.
And I'm Link. This week at the round table of dim lighting, I gotta talk to you about the trip that I just got back from, man. I've been spring breaking it.
And we got nothing to talk about because you got back and I'm like, well, I can't ask him about his trip.
Until now. Now we have everything to talk about.
Well,
my trip to Park City, Utah.
Did you have as much fun as you seem to be projecting right now?
I did some mining.
Crypto?
No, I don't know. That's the first thing I thought of when I thought of Utah, and I didn't want to make a Mormon joke.
Oh.
Was that I don't know, some sort of precious gemstones, metals? I think
does happen there.
There's still a lot of that happening there. I don't know if there's a resurgence of the gold rush there in Utah. I'm totally making that up.
Is that where we mined turquoise? That wasn't Utah, that was Nevada.
That was Nevada, Tonopah, Nevada for commercial kings. So yeah, I'm gonna give you an update on my spring break experience to whet your appetite. Whet your appetite your own spring break.
I was also here.
I know, because that's what I'm saying. You have not gone on your spring break.
Well, no, I'm saying while you were on your spring break, I was just here by myself.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about that. Unless something catastrophic happened to the company, which I assume you would have already told me. And I was still following along on Slack. Like I was lurking in the emails and the Slacks just to make sure that you were holding things down. And it seems that you did. Thank you.
I mean, I had nothing happen that is worthy of talking about on Ear Biscuits. So the runway is clear.
It's not that nothing happened, right? Stuff did happen. It's just not.
No, I didn't work at all.
Oh, hey.
I mean, I was just on Slack a little bit.
You earned it. You earned it, man. Double up. No. Double up on the spring break.
I did work, but nothing interesting happened.
Because your spring break's coming up.
My spring break.
As of this recording.
My spring break might be a 2 episode.
Oh yeah?
I don't know.
I
don't know what's going to happen.
The fact that we call our kids' spring break our spring break because we do make it our spring break. I mean, we have this luxury of saying, our schedule from a production standpoint is pretty much set up over a year in advance. And we've learned as soon as the schools publish what their, when the breaks are for the kids, that we were able to block off some time.
Yeah, we don't function like a typical YouTuber, and every time we interact with the typical YouTuber about being on the show or doing something together, it is a reminder of
we could have booked it
what things are like without
9 months ago
without a schedule.
It's like you're trying to book us. It's like trying to coordinate with other people that's one of the reasons that we stopped interviewing people on the show was because, they pretty much didn't schedule stuff more than a couple of weeks in advance. And then if you try to schedule it before that, it's whoa, I have no clue what I'm doing
right
2 months from now. I'm like, well, I know what I'm doing 12 months from now. Yeah. With no exaggeration. The things that matter most that in terms of producing our ongoing content. And then there's spaces that are left open for stuff that we can slot in. But when it comes to vacations and stuff like that, and you got to coordinate with multiple children, good gracious.
Right.
But it is kind of a luxury to be able to say, hey, we're going to kind of run this year's schedule through one of the grids being our kids' spring break so that it can be our own spring break. It's very nice. It's a very nice thing.
Yeah.
So we went to Park City because I let it be more of Lincoln's decision because when Lily turned 16 years old, we had this idea. Okay, 16 is gonna be a special year. We're gonna take a trip with just the 16-year-old. Mm-hmm. So Lily, wherever Lily wants to go, we decided to go to lunch. She decided to go to London. I'm sure there's an ear biscuit about that. Of course, Lincoln turned 16 in the midst of the pandemic. He also turned 17.
He got nothing.
So we're like, hey, it's like your 17 spring break. You get to decide. And he just said he wanted to go skiing. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I like this little snow skiing. You're developing a hobby.
What if he had said water skiing?
An expensive one.
He's like, I want to try water skiing. Like how would you have been like? Would you have redirected that?
We would. I think
because your dad's a barefoot water skier.
I would have gone water skiing. Yeah. There's part of me that kind of wants to go water skiing again.
Have you tried?
Never tried.
Here's the thing.
Barefoot water skiing.
The fact that your dad has barefoot water skied means that you probably have the correct type of feet.
My foot is nothing like my dad's, but I think my foot's better. I have a flat foot.
I think flat foot is perfect.
He's got a very archy foot.
He's got an archy.
Yeah,
I
really
never
archy.
thought I could, first of all, I've never seen a 6'7" person barefoot ski. But
with an arch like yours?
I think that you've got like water skiing feet.
I got ski feet.
We should do that. We should bring back the vlogs and link
I'm definitely
barefoot water skis.
I feel like I could lose a toe or a nose. It's a dangerous sport.
It's just no. It'll daze you a little bit, but you can't get that hurt.
Yeah. Okay. So I can walk you through the experiences that I had with my family. And my dogs. The dogs are actually a big part of this trip. And so that was something that we had to navigate. So I want to unpack all that for you. But something that's top of mind for me that's not, I don't think it's related to the trip. Maybe it will come back to be related. I wanted to talk first just to kind of give more of my anxiety assessment journey update. At the end of my spiritual deconstruction episode, thanks for the feedback on that. Thanks for the feedback on all of our episodes. Use hashtag Ear Biscuits. We look at all those. I know a lot of you are talking about how you really enjoyed getting to know Greg, the roommate. Little teaser there. We're definitely pulling together, digitizing footage from the archives, never before seen except when we showed it for a captive audience in a room. The first comedy videos that we ever made, that a lot of them did feature Greg.
I am so excited about this. You don't understand. Like I had an idea that you had these tapes, but I just kind of forgotten like what's on these tapes. All this just random footage of us in our dorm room, in our apartment with Greg, with Tim, all the early videos we made, all the outtakes from the early videos we made.
Yes.
And
I've only started scratching the surface of
and just so you know,
digitizing this stuff.
The only place these are gonna be available is the Mythical Society. And if you're not a member of the Mythical Society now, once these things start rolling out, I just gotta say, after having watched a few of them, I'm like, this might be the most compelling thing that we've ever made. Because it's just interesting to find something from like 22, 23 years ago that was the very genesis of us starting to try to be funny.
It's the actual start of what we do now that no one has ever seen except for one time. Beyond a small group of friends. So we're planning out how we want to roll out these archives, and it needs to be on the Mythical Society because that's what the Mythical Society is for, that level of access. There's also some rights and licensing issues that like otherwise we just wouldn't be able to navigate. So that's a little teaser because that's also top of mind for us because we're looking at it. But back to the anxiety stuff. In the spiritual deconstruction episode at the end, I talked about how at the top of the year, with Christy's encouragement based on conversations that I was also kind of bouncing off you and a few other friends, deciding to not only get a new therapist, but also try out anxiety medication. So I'm on sertraline. I've gone from 25 milligrams to 50 milligrams, and it's since January. And going through this process, I've seen it as more of a, my level of observation of my own anxiety has really gone up, because it feels kind of like an experiment. Like, okay, now I'm taking these pills that, I'm open to it. People close to me have had really good experiences, and then it's had a positive impact on their life. So I haven't had a stigma associated with it. I just never made the connection that I personally needed it. But then I kind of got over that hump that, yeah, I think I could benefit from this. I just need to observe what impact it's having just to see if this is a good choice for me. And then also if it is, and I do believe that it is, like I've experienced positive benefits, what now is the right dose? How do I dial that in? Because even like yesterday and this morning, especially this morning, like I realized, I was like, man, I am so anxious. And I do think I am more in tune with how I'm feeling. Like my therapist is helping me like observe more of the symptoms of anxiety in my body. Like, oh, I feel a little nauseous. I feel a little tight. Yesterday, by the end of the day, I realized and when I got home, I was like, you know what? Today was a tough day. I was just really angry, and it was like, and the frustrating thing is that like, I don't know why. Like, I just start searching for the thing that made me angry and feel frustrated, and it's like I can't point to one thing. It's like nobody did anything to me. And then today it wasn't, and so it was one of those things where it was like, I'm kind of ready for this day to end. I'm gonna go to bed at 9:00, which is only 20 minutes earlier than when my
right. I'm about to say that's not too much of a stretch.
Yeah, right.
Did your music start playing?
It starts playing. But then today it was like I just woke up anxious, just like very on edge, very nervous, not angry anymore, not frustrated, but I was just trying to figure out what it was, but then also try to employ some techniques that I'm learning to deal with it, whether I know the answer or not. So like some breathing techniques of like slow breathing in, like straw breathing, where you breathe in slowly, but then you breathe out as if you're breathing through a straw, so that your out breath is like longer than your in breath. Gives a signal to your body that you can calm down. But yeah, it's on one hand, observing this is kind of a good data point that like I'm on the right track, that like all the things that I'm doing are necessary for me. It's because this is a reminder, oh, I've got this flare up of anxiety. And then I start to like try to figure out what it is. It's like, well, I don't know exactly what, I don't feel like I have some amazing thing that I want to bring to this episode. And this is my episode, right? I'm supposed to be, you expect me, like you're not preparing anything.
I'm not prepared.
This is my trip. I'm supposed to be bringing something to this. So that's the first thing I point to is like, okay, I get in my own head about, well, I don't feel prepared. Like this is one thing that really sets off anxiety for me, is just not feeling like I've got this, like you don't have this. And that's kind of a theme, I think, for me, that I realize over many years, maybe over my entire life. It's like, okay, yeah, this is a legitimate signal and symptom of anxiety that like I just never labeled. So there's that, and then I'm like, when we leave here, we're gonna go and meet up with Julian Smith. Well, that's another teaser. I'm full of teasers today. We reconnected with our old friend Julian. I don't know if I guess he's okay me teasing this, but like we're shooting something with him. It's his control whether it sees the light of day, but I think I found myself being very keyed up about that, and I don't know why. It's like this should be something it's fun to reconnect.
But I feel like I feel like it's very natural.
Okay.
Like I don't know. I mean, I feel like the way that you're talking about it is, I'm anxious about these things, and if I was normal, I wouldn't be anxious about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have a diagnosable anxiety disorder, but I get anxious about stuff all the time that we're about to do in the same way, and I'll be like, and then I'll be driving home, and I'll be like, what is it? Why am I feeling this way? And then I'll try to find it. I'll try to get to the root of it. Oh, we're doing that thing, and I don't feel prepared for it.
And I bet you I'll feel better when it's over. And then if I'm right, I will.
And then I actually start fantasizing about it being something that should be fun being done and being over and being like, and then I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna eat dinner and I'm gonna watch TV and that won't be stressful.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess so. I'm not dismissing your anxiety. I'm just saying
this
that
exactly
it doesn't make you weird. I think it makes you normal.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what I'm trying to figure out because I've been completely on that side on that perspective. On the outside of, I'll put it in the extreme, an anxiety diagnosis, and saying for myself, it's like, yeah, I get stressed out. Stress is a natural response to, having to step up. And when pressure hits, stress is a good thing because it gets you ready. It's human.
Yeah.
It's not just a problem, something that should be therapized or anesthetized or however you want to say it away. So I'm like, yeah, of course I get stressed out. But then it's like, okay, it gets to a level where you have heart palpitations. Sometimes, they'll come and go, but like, okay, that may have an impact on my health long term,
Yeah.
And but yeah, that's how I've put it in this box of like, well, what you just said. And now I've kind of switched over to the other side. It's like, what is normal and what is more of disordered level of dealing with anxiety?
Well, I think sort of slightly informed but mostly non-professional opinion or perspective on an anxiety disorder is when you have an anxiety disorder, a lot of times it will be there's a baseline of anxiety and then you'll kind of begin filling it with things that you could be anxious about. So it's almost like the anxiety starts and then the events or the circumstances fill it versus a more normal response to is an event makes you become anxious about something. Now, obviously, if you become anxious about it to a extreme degree that like affects your functioning and your health, and that's extreme. But it's almost like people who are deal with depression, they wake up in the morning and they feel depressed not because they had a bad day or not because they're anticipating having a bad day, but there's something in the chemical makeup of their brain that just be giving them the blues, giving them a feeling of depression. And then you start trying to connect it to like, is it this or is it that? Oh no, it might just be a brain thing and there could be treatment for that. So what you're describing is a bucket of that I need to, that I could fill with something to always have an object of my anxiety. Because you feel like your baseline anxiety has changed after being on this medication for 3 months. Because at this point, it should have kicked in, right?
Yeah, it has. But I think what's happened is, I could add other things to the list. It's like, okay, Christy gave me a report about a conversation she had with my mom about, Lewis, having another stroke. And then, I got a friend that I want to have a conversation with that the friend's is going through something that like I haven't been able to have that conversation. So there's some energy going out in that direction. And so there's this cumulative effect of, okay, that then I wake up and I just feel like in a knot,
Mm-hmm.
And so and honestly, I kind of thought, because I've been experiencing the benefits of the medication and the therapy, everything, that it's a bit discouraging to find that like, okay, now that these things have piled on, it kind of feels like I'm back where I was, at least yesterday and today, So then you start to think about, well, does that mean, should I consider upping the medication. I'm still in that zone where I'm trying to dial that in. I think what I'm concluding, even in this conversation, is that like, okay, let me see if this wave passes, if the baseline is still, and I'll also talk to my doctor and my therapist.
Yeah, right. Your doctor can help you.
So in terms of hashtag Ear Biscuits, you don't have to give me advice on that front.
Oh, don't worry, they will.
But I have a follow-up schedule with my doctor, and I'm talking to my therapist tonight. But I'm just kind of sharing just the what's at work in assessing my anxiety and kind of getting comfortable with the fact that like I am treating it and I am talking about it. And I'm not talking about getting comfortable with talking about it publicly, just wrapping my mind around in all conversations that like, hey, this is a part of what I'm dealing with, and I'm coming to grips with it, and I'm still developing a game plan, and I'm just observing, and I find that I'm observing things more closely than I never did. So it's like the more things that come up, it's like, oh yeah, that's been something that's been true of me for my entire life. Now I'm seeing it through a different lens of treatment, and it is very helpful, and so I do feel very positive about it overall. It's just the past few days have been more of a dip.
And we are getting back into a more stressful schedule. I was thinking about this the other night. There was like 2 weeks in a row where almost every night I had some commitment.
Yeah.
Now some of it was like fun stuff, like, oh, we're going to a concert, or we've got our date night scheduled. But other nights there were like some social engagement, and I was just like, man, this is
the world opening back up is absolutely
so there's that.
A factor.
There's less of this little respite in the evening. It's like getting home at 10:30, 11:30.
It's a lifestyle shift.
Yeah. And realizing that this is what my life used to be like. And the other thing is, we've always had a lot going on, but there's a lot of things getting to a stage where they're taking more time. I mean,
or just feeling like with all these irons in the fire, which one's gonna catch the oven mitt when I'm not looking?
Yeah. So I mean, I've definitely been feeling that. I mean, that's what I talked to my therapist about last week, is just like, I'm kind of beginning to feel like the pressure is increasing. And it's been, as difficult as the pandemic was in many, many other ways, the one positive thing about it was it seemed like there was a little less pressure in some ways. There was less demands on our time. And that's kind of reversing. So I'm not surprised that you're feeling, that you're feeling a little bit of that the anxiety is like
getting a little prickly. You know what I think I need?
A little bit.
I think I need a vacation. I think I need a spring break.
Yeah, that is the interesting thing, is you just got back from the vacation.
I do think that's also a factor. Is like yesterday was my first day back, so
vacations tend to make us anxious because you're like, well, what did I fall behind on?
I definitely felt some of that. So yeah, I think, I'm gonna be in observation mode at least for another week coming out of this. But before I'm like making any decisions about changing my approach, because I do feel very good and still mostly excited about and confirmed about being on the right tracks for what I'm doing here. But yeah, I wouldn't, I'd love to go back to Park City. Let's switch to that. But first, let's get some promo in for our boy Trevor's podcast.
Trevor talks too much. Mythical Kitchen Trevor. He's he's really good at making pastries. You know that?
He's good at making pastries. He's good at making conversation.
He's good at making a lot of things, but he's like got some like special high dollar training in that pastry area, I think. You know,
we're trying to be building up. He doesn't do that on the podcast. Though,
I know,
trying to build up the podcast.
But if you like the idea of somebody being really good at pastries and also really good
just
at talking
to somebody,
yeah. I mean, the TLC that goes into a perfect pastry, is very similar to the TLC that goes into a perfect episode of a podcast.
Okay.
You know, you gotta fold that croissant. There's many layers.
He brings in guests that. You know, for me, that it's bringing a fresh perspective into my world.
Yeah.
Through Trevor's perspective. MXM Tune, she's an artist that, when we pulled up her music video, it's like, she's got something.
I like her style.
So listen to that conversation. Knowing Eubanks is a gamer. Check out that one. And the Talibi twins are coming on very soon. If not already.
Yeah, he's getting in the mix, man. He's getting in the mix.
Trevor talks too much. It's a fun listen. Learn something. If you're into these people that he's having on there, great. And if you're not, you should expand your world.
Well, yeah, if you're an oldie like us and you want to feel a little bit less oldie.
Just come out and say it. Of course, we've been to Park City a number of times. Park City's known for being the venue for the Sundance Film Festival towards the top of every year. And so we found ourselves at the Sundance Film Festival in all like tertiary capacities. We were there with we were making videos with Cadillac. We were like interviewing celebrities
about Cadillacs.
You can go back on the Rhett and Link channel, check that out. We went we were guests of YouTube a couple of times. Like they had like a lounge.
Yeah.
So we did some Q&As and stuff like that and saw a few documentaries when we were there. And then we would like maybe ski for a few hours. And then sometimes we would see our friend Eric, who, our high school friend who was one of the guitarists in the Wax Paper Dogs. Mm-hmm. So Eric's lived there for like 20 years now. He's like worked in and around the mountain resorts, doing like high up technology stuff. He started as a snowmaker. So yeah, I got to reconnect with Eric, got to hang out with him. So I'm like, he definitely wanted to like say, oh, you should do this, you should go here. He was like a Sherpa.
Oh, well, he was like ski patrol at some point, I think, right? In the early days.
He just told me he was a snowmaker, and then he went into like the IT department.
But he knows the mountains.
The thing that I remember, and I didn't bring it up this time because I just didn't want to rehash the story with him again, but I'll do it here. When we went to Sundance that one time, and we had some drinks, and I'm gonna say a combination of the altitude and not being acclimated to that, and having a few too many drinks for that particular environment.
I don't remember this.
I woke up the next morning, we're like, before we leave town, Eric, we gotta meet you. We're gonna meet you for breakfast. And he like, so we met him at this breakfast place, and I've not been hungover often in my life. Okay, there was the one time in high school that I told the story. And then there was, there's sometimes you like wake up with a headache, but like what? I've never woken up and before my eyes are open, I could tell that the room is spinning.
Oh.
Except like a couple of times. Like once you experience that once, it takes me like 10, 15 years before I forget, apparently, that I never want to feel that again. And I think the timing worked out just right, that like, oh my gosh, I woke up, the room was spinning, then I opened my eyes, I was like, yep, am I gonna be able to get out of bed? It was bad. And I don't
remember this.
Yes, you do, because I was wearing sunglasses, and I was like, dude, I don't feel good. And we got an Uber to the breakfast place to meet Eric. And I didn't tell Eric that I felt bad. I just wore my sunglasses the whole time. It was very bright. And we were like wearing these heavy coats because it was like snowy outside. And then we go inside and it's like baking hot. And the sun is baking through the window and shining right in my eyes, which
at least you got sunglasses
at least gave me a reason to wear the sunglasses. And
you're also at Sundance, and it makes you look like you're somebody if you got sunglasses inside.
Like doing that like hangover sweat, and like we're talking to Eric and we're like catching up, and like I was trying to like convey that I was so happy to see him because it had been a while. And then I just let the two of you do most of the talking while I just sat there, and like I was looking at the menu, and I remember that the menu made me nauseous. And then Eric ordered one of those egg Benedict things where it's like you poke the egg and it oozes out like
like a properly made eggs
like
Benedict.
Something that like an EMT should be like working on in the back of an ambulance. Oh my gosh, it's like, or like an eye surgeon or something.
Yeah, you've just described the properly made eggs Benedict.
And I remember looking at that and I was like, I need to go to the restroom. And I went to the bathroom. You remember this?
I'm kind of it's beginning to piece together.
I was about to vomit at the table, and then I'm like shimmying to the bathroom, and I got to the bathroom, and when I saw the toilet, I just started vomiting, you know?
Oh my God.
Before I got to the toilet.
Why didn't you feel like you could tell him that you were hungover?
I don't know. Because I was embarrassed. It's so dumb. Like, I think it was in that weird zone where it was like, it might have been a little holier than thou thing. I don't think so though. There's no way that could have been it.
Was that the Cadillac year?
Yes, I think it.
That might have been it.
Might have been if it was back then.
That might have been
the first time we went to Sundance.
Yeah, because that was like
2008.
Pre-deconstruction. Pre-deconstruction, and we were like trying to be these like, we wanted to keep up appearances. You can't let him know you're hungover because God will be upset with you.
I just think I was embarrassed. I don't know how spiritual it was, but like I had a lot of cleaning up to do in the bathroom.
Oh,
because I'm like taking all the paper towels and like trying to mop up the.
So you missed the toilet?
Yeah, man. I missed the floor. I like hit the wall a little bit.
Went out the window?
Hit the wall. It's like, you ever been in the bathroom and you're like, who exploded? How do you explode everywhere?
Well, I understand.
And I still don't know the answer to that for poop because I've seen that.
I understand the vomit, but I don't understand the diarrhea explosion in a bathroom, man. I'm like.
I'm
so curious. I would be willing to be there to see it happen. Like it's the nastiest thing, but I'm just so curious. I'm like, what position were they in?
So every time I get together, I mopped everything up because I was not gonna leave that for the employees. But it took me a long time to come back out. When I came back out, I think it was like, guys, I'm just, I've had a rough time in the restroom, and I'm still having a rough time out here. I'm glad you're finished with your bursted eyeball egg.
Yeah, your poached eggs.
So that's what I think about every time I go back to Park City, and especially when we see Eric. But
you have like a Pavlovian vomit response to Eric?
No, it's not that bad.
Good.
The main thing, I booked an Airbnb, and I was like, every time since we first got Jade, I was like, we're gonna take this dog, we're gonna fly with this dog. I've seen people do it. We're gonna take Jade home with us. I love Jade. She's a member of the family. I want her to be with me. But we never did it. Like it's, you get down to it and you're always like, it's not worth it. It's probably tough on Jade. It's like she likes the kennel we take her to. It's called a freaking pet resort.
Yeah.
They sleep on beds. It's like they got like webcams. You can see them at all times.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
It's great.
Barbara loves it.
It's redonkulous. And Barbara's there, usually at the same time. So we always talked ourselves out of it, but I was like, Christy, now that you're so attached to Jasper, or at least that's what I was thinking. Now that she's so attached to Jasper, I'm like, we're gonna do it this time. Like we've taken road trips. Like when we went to Sedona, we took the dog and the cat, right when we got the cat, which was crazy. So it's not that we haven't gone on trips with the dogs, like if we do on like a beach trip or something, but they've never flown with us. So I'm like, Park City, this is a very short flight. It's like around an hour. It's like, this is a good test. And plus, me, Lincoln, and Lando are gonna be skiing. Christy, you're gonna be back at the Airbnb, just chilling out, doing what you want to do. This is what she was looking forward to that. But I was like, don't you want your little furries with you? Your animals? Don't you want your doggies? And I was like, let's do this. So she said yes. And it was really because she's so attached to Jasper. Like, oh my gosh, it's like a little baby to her.
He does better at the kennel now, though, right? I mean, like, because I picked him and Jade up,
right, and posted on your Instagram.
I mean, and he did like have like a.
He's very clingy, but he's gotten better. Like he had separation anxiety.
He didn't seem super traumatized when I picked him up.
Yeah, he's lived with us for a year now, and he's doing so much better on that front. So that really wasn't a factor. So I mean, with Delta at least, you got to go to a special counter when you get there. And we had the little carriers that are like Delta approved. It's like, okay, if I buy this one, I know it will fit under the seat in front of me. And because the last thing I wanted to be turned away because my like carrier was too big. So like we got all that squared away. The weeks leading up to it, I was like, all right, Christy, we're gonna put the dogs in the kennel and we're gonna walk them around. I think I'm gonna take them downtown, take them into town, not downtown LA, but like take them into town, like around the shops area and just like carry them in the carrier.
Both of them?
Both of them. Just to like get them acclimated to being carried in a carrier.
Right.
And because she laughed in my face, just like you did just now, I didn't do that. But I didn't think it was that weird to carry two dogs in a carrier around.
I think you got to get them used to it.
In like a bustling little shopping area.
Yeah, I was just like a man carrying two dogs. I mean, that guy's going somewhere.
Typically, you would walk your dog in a shopping area, not carry them in a carrier.
Head in or head out?
I didn't do it, but around the house I would do it and I'd put their head in, yeah. And then we got there and you gotta go to a special counter because you gotta pay a fee for this. It's like $150 per dog one way.
It's another passenger, man. It's actually a good deal.
Well, it's not another seat.
Yeah, but people's dogs create issues for other people. You have to discourage it a little bit.
You gotta discourage it a little bit. You gotta put in a speed bump. People are willing to pay like for us $600 round trip.
And every once in a while that dog's gonna take a crap inside the kennel. People are gonna smell it. And you gotta discourage it.
You gotta discourage it, you're right. So we get there to the curbside and I asked the guy, I was like, we have dogs, we've never traveled with dogs. I think we have to go to special counter. He's like, follow me. So he takes us around this decent sized line. And then he skips the line, goes and talks to one of the agents, whispers and then points at us and like stands us kind of to the side in front of the line.
This is checking in?
And checking in. And then the guy leaves and I gave him a tip because the dude just like escorted us to skip the entire line. I was a little self-conscious about that. I'm really nervous about having these dogs. And then Jasper from within the crate thingy, the carrier, sees another dog and we're standing there in front of everybody.
That's trouble.
And he barks twice. 2 barks.
Really?
2 barks.
Just 2?
Just 2. And then all of a sudden, I see from a long ways down, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 agents behind. And then way down there, this woman just starts huffing and puffing down behind everybody. Maybe she's a manager of some sort, comes all the way around and goes up to Christy because Christy was holding Jasper's carrier. Says, ma'am, if you don't get your dog to start barking, you're gonna have to take him out of here. I'm like, what? I'm like, he barked twice, just 2 barks. And I'm like, what's?
This is an employee?
The employee, I'm like, man, this is intense. I'm about to shell out the dough. Come on.
And you were thinking, Jasper, he barked twice.
He'll get a lot worse than this. And this was the main thing I was worried about. So then I'm like, crap. I was like, okay, we'll do what we can, thinking, I don't know what we're gonna do. But then I took off my jacket and I just draped it over the whole thing where he couldn't see anything.
Alligator mode.
Yeah. And I thought that would just make him freak out more, but it actually didn't. It worked. I don't know. I would not have predicted it would have worked, or I would have done that to start with. But yeah, that definitely worked. And then we take him through security. I'm having to Google like all this stuff, like You put the dog through the thing? If you do, does it fry him?
You don't want to put them in.
Like when you cook a dog in a?
Well, it wouldn't cook them, but the effects would show up later. Delayed.
It's an X-ray.
Yeah.
I mean, dogs get X-rayed all the time.
Not at that level.
Yeah. I took the dog out of the carrier, held Jade in my arms and Jasper in Chrissy's arms, and we walk them through and then put them back in the carrier. By that point,
they do a cavity search of either of the dogs?
No.
Good.
Not of me either.
Okay.
It's a little disappointing. I'm still waiting for that.
Well, you got to store something up your butthole.
They ended up doing really well on the flight. The vet had given Christy a sedative for the dogs, which
the vet had given Christy a sedative, so she was okay.
Christy has her own version of a sedative because she has a pronounced fear of flying.
Did the dogs help create a distraction for her that made her less focused on her own?
Not on the first flight, because we were so keyed up about everything was new and we were worried about all of the logistics that I'm telling you about. So it was like we were pretty on edge for that reason. But we get them on the plane, we put them underneath the seat in front, and then they did great. By the time we got off the plane, we were like unzipping the top and walking down to baggage claim, like their heads are sticking out. And it's like, all of a sudden, we're feeling like those people.
So they didn't bark at all on the plane?
They did not bark at all on the plane. After we took off, I asked the woman next to me, well, I'll tell that story in a second. After we took off, they eventually got up and got in our laps. I mean, they're little cat dogs. They just want to be in our laps. And once they're in our laps, they just sleep. Jasper looked out the window a little bit, but like, not a peep out of them. They were like docile. The sedative had an effect on Jasper. He was really sleepy, but it really didn't have an effect on Jade. She didn't sleep any. And I was also concerned about them using the bathroom, but like we made sure they went right before we left the house, and then there's like pet pee and poop areas designated in airport terminals.
Oh, but not on the plane.
No, not on the plane. In the terminals, but we didn't want to take them in there, and they were fine. They didn't have to use the bathroom until we got to where we were going.
What about
short flight?
A cross-country flight? Because I'm thinking about doing this with Barbara.
You have to look into it. Like I think cross-country flight you can do it. I've seen dogs, but if you're flying to Hawaii, I think I read that you have to put the dogs. You have to check the dogs, which is not something I would want to do.
They have to go in the luggage thing.
I don't know exactly where they go.
They can't go in the luggage thing. It gets too cold. It's not pressure regulated.
I don't know exactly where they go. I don't want to find out. I don't want to put my dogs in there. I just wouldn't take them. There's the emotional support route, which I'll get to that in a second. But I mean, knowing that we wanted to pull out the dogs on the return flight, I turned to the woman next to me when we first sat down, because I was like, how are you with dogs? Because you don't want to freak somebody out. Which is what I think that the manager who was freaking out was like, you got to do something about your dog barking, because some people freak out. Some people are afraid of dogs.
Right. And
it's like, well, the people take precedent over the dogs. If you can't control your dog, then hey.
You could lose customers.
You could lose customers. So I was trying to be sensitive to this passenger who was sitting next to me on the flight. She was like, oh, I love dogs. So then we pulled out our dogs a little bit later, and she was happy. And then she pulls out her phone and she shows us a picture of her dog, but it's a selfie of her with her dog. I'm like, oh, you got a cute dog. You are a dog person. When I looked at the picture, it was a bit strange, because the woman, the picture she showed me, she had applied that face filter to her face. And I just don't get it.
Like a Facetune?
Yeah, like a Facetune, where it's like it makes your face like, it looks like really smooth, like you have on makeup.
Right.
I mean, she had on some makeup in real life, and like I'm sitting right next to her, but it's like that is not, I can tell it's you, but it's not you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the emoji version of you. It's like, this is obviously a fake you. You've put a filter on yourself. It just, I don't know, the whole thing is just strange to me.
Yeah, a lot of people do
You know? And of course, I see all the people on TikTok that are like, this is not my face. this is not my face.
Yeah, but they're at least drawing attention to it.
Yeah, at least they're drawing attention to it. But it gets stranger when a stranger is showing you this picture.
Usually you see this person like on Facebook.
Right, and
there's on a plane showing you the picture.
And the phone's not right next to their face.
Right, that's the issue.
What made it even weirder was, again, the whole point is that the dog's in the selfie too. And the face filter was applied to the dog too. Did you know that could happen? The dog's face was like
super smooth,
altered. The only
like
thing
a puppy?
No, the only thing I could really tell was that the left eye of the dog, it was like a chihuahua. The left eye of this chihuahua was like darkened and bigger. It was like the shadow on the left side of the dog's face was interpreted by the filter as part of the dog's eye. So the left eye of the dog was like twice as wide as the right eye of the dog.
And this woman thought that was cute?
I think, I don't know why she showed me
that. Are you
that
sure it just wasn't a big-eyed chihuahua?
Well, I didn't want to ask at that point because then I'd be like, and is that what your face normally looks like?
Because I think that's a special breed. I think I saw that one.
Big left-eyed chihuahua?
Yeah, the specific, yeah. It's a little asymmetrical.
The face smoothing didn't know what to do with that dog's eye.
You think she hasn't looked at the dog? She's showing you a picture of her dog.
Yeah. I just think that people are kind of blind to like how strange the filter, like it's like you can't see how obvious it is.
But if you're looking at I'm gonna find a picture of my dog to show to strangers when they ask. Oh, that's a cute one. You're looking at the dog. This is weird.
It's so weird. But to me,
I think maybe you were actually the victim of an internet prank video and you didn't respond.
No, she was being sincere. It was, to me, it just highlights the problem, like how these face filters have just fooled people. Like,
well, they haven't fooled many people.
No, but the people who use them think they're fooling people.
Oh.
And I'm not talking about the ones that are like, this is not my face. Some of them are real crazy. It's amazing how much, with nothing to compare it to, you're like, oh, that person's gone through like a makeup makeover. It's like very extreme and modelish, but it is realistic. Like the technology is getting amazing. But the one that people normally use, like for the past year or two on, I guess, Facebook or whatever, Instagram, it's very obvious that you're applying this filter to everybody except the person who's applying the filter.
I think you lose perspective on it.
You lose perspective on it, and it's a problem. What are you
gonna do about it?
I think it's gonna become my thing. Like, okay. I'm a crusade against face filters. I mean, obviously it's like, it just seems dysfunctional, right?
Yeah, well, it is a...
And if you're fooled to the point where you're putting your dog in it.
I wonder if the idea is, okay, so obviously we all do some sort of altering of our face or whatever, like when we shoot things on video, we just so we're not a couple of shiny boys, we put some makeup on. I'll put in some eye drops because I have perpetually bloodshot eyes and everyone's like, he's always high. And I'm like, no, I just have bloodshot eyes and I have to put in. So I do some artificial things to my face to make myself more presentable, right?
Yeah. Are you're saying you're on a slippery slope to face filter?
No, I'm saying culturally,
yeah.
And traditionally, women are more apt to do more things to their face with makeup than men are. That's changing a little bit, but like that is sort of, the norm in the past. And then when somebody's got makeup on, like, so if somebody shows up and they've got makeup on that, like, it's decorative in some way. It's like, oh, there's a different color over this person's eyes. We've kind of accepted that. Maybe the people who are doing face filters are like, I'm not trying to fool you. Mm-hmm. I know that it's obvious that I have a face filter, but this is the face that I want to show you. This is the face of my little dog that I want to show you. I want the big eye thing because I think that's cute.
It's a leap from wearing makeup to a face filter.
I agree. I don't believe that's what's happening. I think what's happening is people lose perspective.
I think what you're doing here, and I really appreciate it, is because we don't have a strong point of view, I'm just trying to figure it out, is that we know we're gonna get some sort of comment that presents a different perspective that might have to lead to an apology. That's the world we live in. on our podcast and on the internet, right? I don't want to offend anybody who uses a face filter, but at the same time, and so when I say something like, is this a sign of dysfunction? It's like, okay, is that a line that I can't cross conversationally because someone's gonna come out of the woodwork and say, well, have you thought about it this way? And it's like, okay, yeah. Obviously people have a right to put on a face filter. I just don't understand it. And I'm not saying it's dysfunction, I'm asking a question. Now I'm being so defensive.
Well, I mean, when I see it, so
I don't get it though.
And it happens. It's like, and again, I don't go on Facebook, and my wife doesn't go on Facebook because, in many ways.
Well, it's Instagram too, though.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like Facebook is the place where I feel like it's more prominent there because Facebook and the people who use Facebook maybe instead of Instagram, right? Which is a certain genre or a certain sort of generation even. I think they're
people
less
on Facebook are more likely to not realize that it's obvious they're using a
people
face
who
filter.
use Facebook as their primary social media are less technically savvy than people who don't. That's a generalization that I'm willing to make, right?
You made it.
And I think that it's just like, it's like when your mom goes on Facebook and sends a message to you like, call me immediately, but she makes it her like status update. Like that kind of stuff happens all the time.
You sure?
Brian, call me immediately. And it's just like, her like best friend has liked it. Yes, Brian, do that. That mom is, or dad, okay, I'm not trying to say it's women, I'm saying moms and dads, and parents of all kinds, are probably more likely to use a face filter in a way that they did not, they lost perspective at some place along the way. And so when I see it, I don't necessarily.
It's different than getting plastic surgery. You talk about makeup, but then you've got, okay, if you got lip plumpification or I don't know, you got the cheek implants, whatever you got. I don't know. I don't care. It's fine. I do feel like this is different because it's like.
I don't know.
It's a different thing.
If I couldn't grow a beard, I would consider getting a chin implant.
But you wouldn't consider
I'm just honest, being
applying
honest with you.
a beard filter to all of your pictures.
No, but I grow a beard as a filter.
What?
My beard is a filter. I mean, it's natural, it grows naturally, so I guess cutting it would be going against nature, but I'm just saying that
But you wouldn't walk around, like a beard toupee, does that exist, by the way?
I'm sure.
If
it can be conceptualized, it can be invented and
sure, people have beard toupees. Beard pays.
I'm saying I agree with you. When I see somebody who's done a face filter, I think this person has identity issues. That's what I think. That's my knee-jerk reaction. But then when I turn that lens back on myself, I'm like, well, you got identity issues as well.
Sure.
But you're just being a little bit more savvy in the way that you're addressing them.
I mean, you might have more self-consciousness than someone who's willing to use a face filter. It's like, hey, I want to share this picture, but I don't want to put on makeup to take a picture. I'm just going to put this face filter on, and then I'm going to post that picture. It's like, so what? Who cares? I know to me, it comes down to, do you know that people know it's a face filter? It's like, do you know that people know? Are you okay with people knowing that this is a face filter? Are you okay with people knowing you were wearing makeup? Are you okay with people knowing
people who use it don't know that
you have plastic surgery? I think maybe that's what I'm addressing.
Well, I saw one where it was they had done the whole family. Because the thing that happens sometimes is
was there a dog in the photo? Because it'll get wonky.
Chihuahua. The thing you see sometimes is one person who is the person whose account it is, they've done the Facetune filter to just themselves. So let's just say it's a person in the family and the spouse and the kids don't have it done. Then it's especially evident.
Oh, you can do that? You can just circle
you can select
face?
one face. But then
That's
one time I
too.
saw a family where I guess in an effort to disguise, they had done everyone, including the children. I was like, this is a family of angels.
This is great. Yeah, it's just, and then, if that's a teenager, you're really,
take that down.
Talk about cringe. Brian,
call me immediately, Brian. I can't take this photo down. I don't know how to do it.
Oh man, this should have been the whole episode because I feel like we're really getting into something important.
Yeah, you haven't even talked about your damn trip yet.
I talked about the most important part, flying there with my dogs.
What about skiing, man?
Face filtering the dogs. All right, I guess we can come back. Let us know what you think about face filters. That's what we do need to hashtag Ear Biscuits about, okay? We can do a follow-up on this. We can do an entire expose. Maybe we'll just start applying the face filter to our face. I finally got to Park City. The dogs were there. It was, let me finish the dog part. I think that it was-
okay. All right. Let's go
That's
finish.
really what I wanted to talk about the most anyway, apparently. We were very glad that we brought the dogs. We had this like collapsible kennel that would keep both the dogs that like I could carry in my suitcase. So when we left the house, they didn't just like potentially pee or poop anywhere. We also had to pay a fee at the Airbnb for the dog, but still it was not as much as the keeping them in the kennel, in the pet resort. I'm really self-conscious about saying that I take my dogs to a pet resort, but I'm also very proud of it. So that was a good choice. On the way back, we were much more at ease knowing the effect that the sedative would have on Jasper and like covering the crate. Like we started to get things down that to the point where Christy was talking about, we're walking in the airport on the way back, the dogs' heads are sticking out and people are like pointing and whispering to other people about the cuteness of our dogs. And Christy and I are looking at each other and like just talking about how we're those people that we've always been jealous of at the airport.
Really?
Yes, because they have their dogs and we don't have our dogs. And here we are, we have our dogs.
So is it about the
baby.
dogs or about you?
Oh, it's definitely about, the dogs are for me. And again, that gets to the emotional support of the dog clicking into place. It's like, Christy experienced it firsthand with like her fear of flying. I was like, is having Jasper helping? You know, petting a dog releases endorphins.
Yeah.
And then having somebody that you're caring for.
What about petting a dolphin?
Yeah, emotional support dolphin.
It releases endorphins.
That's not how baby dolphins are made.
Yeah, sorry.
Releasing endorphins. I mean, that might work on a t-shirt, but you're in dad joke territory
Should I tweet that?
No.
Yeah,
emotional support, no. Because you don't want to tweet about emotional support stuff. And
yeah. I would find a different way. Yeah.
We've dug too much of a hole of talking about like women wear makeup today.
Right.
And men.
Yeah.
And all people.
Yeah.
Damn. Right. Whatever. Okay. So yeah, I'm like, I think we've backed into a legitimate case for Jasper becoming an emotional support dog. And then I don't think I have to pay $150 each way. And I don't think I have to put him in a kennel. But I mean, she's got a fear of flying.
You have to give him a little jacket, a little vest.
Yeah, that's great, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be that person. You can get an emotional support certification probably for squirrely reasons. I've been told. But I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't do it.
No one's going to like say no along
I did not want to abuse that system. But now I find that like,
but it might be legitimate.
Christy might be a legitimate candidate, and then it's like, we might need to grandfather me and Jade in.
Question.
It definitely helped her. And it helped me too. Like I would take Jade everywhere if I could. She should be here right now.
But the circumstances of this trip lent themselves to them not being an inconvenience. But like, let's just say you decided, hey, family trip to France.
Especially when you don't have a home base that someone is there most of the time. Like everything kind of lined up. So it's still trip to trip.
Yeah.
But I was making the argument when we go back home and we stay in an Airbnb, we can take the dogs to visit our family and I think they'll be fine. So I'm lobbying for that to be the next thing.
Yeah.
For Christmas, we're bringing the dogs home.
Our plan is to take Barbara, because we're going to North Carolina in the summer. And we'll be staying at the place that we bought there, and
for maybe longer than a week.
It might be 2, but the plan is to take Barbara for that trip. I think Barbara will do fine on the plane. It's the only thing that's going to be a problem is she likes people and food so much that she may start whining.
The vet can give her the sedative, and they said we could give Jasper another one if he needed.
But other than that, if I did not have a home base,
no,
it's just such an inconvenience. And Barbara loves going to the pet resort, is what she tells me every time she gets back.
I'm sure she does.
She's like,
you can look on the webcam.
I really bonded with those bitches this time.
Yeah. A few of them use the face filter.
Yeah, right. I don't know about those.
They're a little
I don't know
pretentious.
about those ones with identity issues, but.
Okay, the Park City skiing of it all, I didn't have it. There's not any like huge thing I wanted to tell you about, but.
How hard did you go? And you skied instead of snowboarded?
I skied. We went. Park City and Canyon resorts are now combined to be like a super large.
I think it's the largest ski resort in the lower 48.
We also went to a third resort
50.
called Deer Valley, which was just like another 7 minutes beyond. We had never skied Deer Valley, I don't think. No snowboarders are allowed there. The thing about Deer Valley and Park City, Canyon's not so much, was that if you want to ride greens, I guess I'm not snowboarding, so I won't say ride, ski greens, which Lincoln and I could do some blues, but we're still getting our bearing with skiing, and Lando is not ready for blues.
Now, after being there for 3 days, or before?
Even now, it's, talk about anxiety, like the mixture of bringing anxiety to the slopes is a big test. And of course, he deals with anxiety too, so does Lily. And like Lily learned how to ski, but then she was like, it makes me really anxious to like be going down a mountain on these like flat wooden things. It's like.
She's using wooden skis? Well, that's her problem.
Welcome, I guess they're not
welcome
wooden.
to the 90s.
I guess they're not wooden. Okay. My papa had wooden water skis. That's what I was thinking about. Like the ones that are hanging up on the GMM set. But Lando, when we eased him into it, he did really well. And it was just a test of anxiety of like, okay, being in a comfort zone. No, I did not push myself. I made a decision that was like, I want to enjoy myself and, I don't want to hurt myself.
That's the only thing I'm thinking about most of the time.
The thing about the greens there, unlike definitely Big Bear, even Mammoth, is that like you got like the lower part where you got the greens, and then you keep going up the mountain and it gets more complex and like Black Diamond as you go higher elevation. Well, that's not really the case. At Park City, you can go all the way to the top, and definitely at Deer Valley, you can go all the way to the top and then ski greens all the way down. So it's like, you can do these like really long runs. And I was able to take Lando all the way up there and really enjoy it. Just like kind of take our time, do some carving. It was warm too, it was nice. I mean, so the snow wasn't great, but we don't care. It's like, I'll drink any red wine, I'll ski any slope. Especially if it's not absolutely frigid. Yeah, I'm not drinking wine, but on the slopes. But we had a really good experience. Lando didn't have the endurance or just the appetite to stay as long as Lincoln and I. So like Lincoln and I could do some more blues when he wasn't around. And there's just so many places to explore. And when I gotta say, if you're on skis and you go to a place that doesn't allow snowboarders, that's not gonna happen much longer. It's just economically, there's no way they're gonna keep outlawing snowboarding at Deer Valley. There's too many grandkids that the grandparents want them to go skiing with them.
If they've gotten until 2022 without allowing
Eric
them?
was even saying there's no way this will continue.
Well, they're holding out.
They're holding out big time, but it is an entirely different experience because snowboarders they're punks. They're punks. They're teenagers.
Lowlifes.
They're 20-somethings, and they're knuckle dragging, and they're like boot dragging, and they're like taking up space, and they got this big blind spot, and they're tearing up the slopes, and like I'm becoming hoity-toity about it. But I'll tell you, I mean, it definitely feels different because it was a different crowd. It's an older crowd. It's a more docile crowd. It's a less stinky crowd. But I will go back to snowboarding. I was like, Lincoln, you gotta learn to snowboard too, and I can definitely get back on there. I don't know what my pelvis will do.
Yeah, I think I ultimately had more fun snowboarding, but I just don't think I can do it. I think that the stress on the back is just too much. I mean, that's why I switched.
Yeah, but the stress on the knees.
And I tore a ligament in my knee.
Skiing, so there you go. It's it can still, you can make an argument that snowboarding is safer.
I'd rather sacrifice the knees than the back though.
Okay. See, I think I got into skiing because you started scaring me about that, but like I actually don't know if for me, snowboarding it may be a better choice, but I want to be able to go both ways, you know?
Okay.
You hear me? The Airbnb we stayed at, every morning when we woke up, it was like this like, all the windows were like 2 stories of windows, like facing the ski slopes across the valley. At night, I would sit there at the windows and see, of course the slopes close at like 4 o'clock, but like at midnight, you can see the groomers, like those big snowcats coming down, like they got their headlights on, and it looks like falling stars just like traversing the slopes. And it was a full moon. It was a beautiful night. And then the next morning, I get up, and in our backyard, there's a herd of elk grazing.
Oh, really? Elk?
A herd of freaking elk.
Never seen an elk in person.
Grazing right there. And
they came in elk.
They came back every morning. The first morning the dogs were going ballistic, and I was like, well, there's some fluffy deer out there. And Christy's like, I don't think that's a deer.
Well,
I was like,
were they like the size of horses?
Yeah.
Because they're very big.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then Christy's like, I was like, well, you know what? I think it's an elk. She looked it up, and sure enough, Rhett, it was elk. Sitting right out there, just grazing, taking little dumps at the edge of my backyard that then the dogs would go out there and investigate afterwards.
And Jasper would probably try to eat
I did not let the dogs out while the elk were there. I didn't know what would happen, get kicked in the face or something like that.
I doubt it. They probably would run.
So the final highlight, one night Christy booked, she was like, we're going to the Viking yurt. I was like, what? A yurt is like, what is that, like a big tent? She's like, yeah. I was like, what? She's like, it's on the top of a mountain, and you're gonna ride in a sleigh to get there. And so it's like, we show up, and there's one of those snowcats, you know, that like pulls the stuff that grooms the mountain, like with the treads and stuff that can go straight up the mountain. It was pulling this like sled type thing that would hold 20 people. And so like all of us and
what city was this in?
This is in Park City.
In Park City?
This is on the Park City slope.
Okay, because they have a thing like this
go to
in
the
Vail.
resort.
It's a restaurant.
Yeah, it's a restaurant. So you get on the sleigh pulled by the snowcat, and you go up the mountain. Christy, who wasn't skiing the slopes, we're like telling her, oh, we were skiing this slope. We were here today, and just like, so she got to experience the slopes even though she didn't want to ski. And we go up there, again, it was a full moon. By the time we get up there to this like tent that will hold like individual tables, enough for like 20 people, so pretty small. And it was a 6-course meal. I was like, man, I'm not used to sitting down and eating a 6-course meal. I'm not used to eating for 2 hours. I'm not French.
Yeah.
It was awesome though. And we get up there to the top, and it turns out we had skied all around that thing. We didn't even notice that there was a yurt right there.
Was it a Viking?
It was Viking themed. We wore Viking helmets for some photo ops. Yeah.
It's true. Was it like eating with your hands? Was it like medieval
It didn't
times?
go that far, no. We still spoke English, and no one was killed, and no one was making love in the yurt in front of everybody.
And there weren't people like.
That's what I think about. Like I watched the show Vikings, and that's the thing I remember is that they were making love under the bear skins in front of everybody.
Right, but were there people like who
Nobody
looked
did
like
that.
Vikings serving and stuff? Could I get a job there?
No, they served us some grog, which was like a spiced, I don't know, wassail.
Okay.
Some sort of a wassail drink, I would call it. They called it grog. They kind of frowned when I said, "Oh, this tastes like a wassail."
Mm.
And then they spiked it, and we had a good night came back down.
Take the sleigh down.
Took the sleigh back down.
Hold on, when you take the sleigh down, is it not being pulled anymore? It's just free fall?
Just let you go. On the way up, man, there were all these groups of like Utah people with skis going up the mountain.
To get to the yurt?
No, just like this is what they do on a Thursday night.
Cross-country skiing.
Well, it turns out it's not cross-country, it's uphill skiing. They were going up the hill. I was like, how does this happen? I had to ask Eric. He was like, oh, it's called skinning. And then he went out and he was like, here are my skins. It's like, fill of it. You put this skin over your ski, and then if you rub it one way, it's like, you know those pillows you rub and it's smooth one way and you rub it the other way and it's like dark?
You push it forward, it grabs a slope and you can go
Yeah,
up.
it's fabric. And it's called skinning. Maybe
you gotta make sure you put those on the right way.
My guess is that they would like put elk skin on there back in the day, and if you rub the hairs, if you go against the grain, you can climb up the mountain. Mm-hmm. So there's people like
only rubbing elk one way.
It's called uphilling, alpine touring, or skinning.
And they probably disconnect their heel.
The heel is disconnected, and then you can once you hike up. Then you turn around, you get to the top, you take your skins off and you readjust your boots and you ski back down. I mean,
that seems pretty cool.
It's another thing.
And then
it's a workout. Like I really like Park City, man. I really like it. I think I'm gonna be going back. I mean, in the summertime, there's mountain biking that, everything converts to being still an outdoor play place for mountain biking. Eric's definitely trying to talk me into like, getting a place in Park City. I'm like, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Does he mountain bike?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know, but positive report on Park City, man.
I'm glad you didn't get hurt.
I didn't get hurt. So that's
you gotta push it a little harder.
No.
You gotta get a Ralph in your life that takes you to the top of the mountains and just throws you into a blizzard, and then you have to beg the person to let you go back down the lifts. That turns you into a man.
Not if you go back down on the lift.
Well, they didn't let me.
If you had to do it again, would you have gone down the lift?
No, I don't have to do it again. I'm glad I didn't go down the lift.
If you were time traveled back to that moment where you decided to not go back down the lift, would you have gone down the lift?
No, it turns out I ended up being fine.
I thought that's when you hurt your knee.
No, I hurt my knee on a green.
Oh. Yeah, it can happen.
It doesn't matter. The color of the slope doesn't indicate the
Is it my wreck today?
Necessarily.
Wreck, baby, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll wrap it up with found another music podcast. I'm into classic hip hop music podcasts. More of them are coming out of the woodwork. It's like it's kind of like the founding fathers of hip hop are coming to grips with the fact that like, hey, we're still here and we're holding the mantle for what we've built and for what's blown up to what it is today, and strengthening the ties between early hip hop and what it's become today, and so that they can be appreciated. And in some ways, if it's still relevant. I think the perfect example of that, if you're into what I'm saying, is The Bridge, 50 years of hip hop. It's hosted by Nas and Miss Info. Lots of good episodes that I've enjoyed. Ice Cube, DJ Jazzy Jeff, Reverend Ron from Run DMC. Listened to Cypress Hill recently. These are all like throwback episodes. He also interviews Corday. So he's got some newer, but Nas, he's hip hop legend, so he can get people to come on his show that won't do any other podcasts like Chuck D. And so if you're into that like I am, it's really cool. And if you're not, you wouldn't like it. The Bridge. It's a Spotify original. So it's only on Spotify, I guess. Have at it.
And we'll see you next week.
Oh, you weren't ready for that. To watch more Ear Biscuits, click on the playlist on the right.
To watch the previous episode of Ear Biscuits, click on the playlist to the left.
And don't forget to click on the circular icon to subscribe.
If you prefer to listen to this podcast, it's available on all your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks for being your mythical best.